Well, hey, ManCave, this is Bob for DaBob's N-Scale ManCave, and we're here in Kansas City at the Sheraton Overland Park Hotel and Convention Center, and we're about ready to start doing the registration for the convention. Doors open soon. We're going to show you what happens inside and the rest of the convention. Okay, we have this upper floor here is where the train show, most of the convention stuff, auctions, reception, banquet, all those kind of things will be upstairs. And then we have a downstairs, which is down those escalators and an elevator. Downstairs underneath there will be where the layouts will be all held. I don't know if there'll be any in the hallway. There might be some T-Trak out there. N-Rail will be here with big T-Trak and some N-Trak. Fremo is not here this year. There's just not enough room for us. We got people starting to wait. Doors open at 1:30. It's only like 1 o'clock right now, so.
Registration is open. If you'll come through the door and head to your left.
Yay! There's the room. And the first one in. Okay.
191.
Okay. So we got all these people registering, picking up their packs. Got a fairly long line here originally. Getting some raffle tickets for all these things we have. Okay, the grand prizes in the drawing is going to be like Atlas locomotives right here. We have some Railsmith passenger cars. Looks like some Great Northern. And it's got architects, some buildings. Models there. Some Atlas locomotives. War of the Worlds from Microtrains. That's it. Scale trains. Exact rail versions right there. Atlas freight cars. Some more freight cars from Microtrains. Railsmith models, more passenger cars. The Texas Special. Hogs trains. Freight cars, different variety. Some Rapido freight cars. A little variety there. We got this variety right here from, it's a volunteer placard. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it comes from the N-Scale Enthusiast, I believe. ScaleTrains.com's got some coil cars. B&S Family Tree. I kind of would like to get that one. That'd be cool. Probably should collect it, you know. More Railsmith. You have Illinois Central, City of Miami. Wheels of Time. Variety there. Microtrains Reefers. Variety of reefer sets there. We have some scale train locomotives. Looks like some GP30s. N-Scale Architect. Complete car kits. Enclosed pickle car. Interesting. We have the Constellation series. Cars from Microtrains. More Atlas train sets here. We have, well, looks like Operation Lifesaver and a few cars to go behind it. Quaker Oats. I haven't seen a Quaker Oats one in a while. We have Blueford Shops. Variety right there. Looks like some auto racks and some coal cars. And even a caboose. More auto racks that are graffitied up or weathered with artwork. A couple there that I have. I think I have only 2 of those 8, so that'd be kind of cool. Railsmith, the Santa Fe Grand Canyon passenger set. Some more Microtrains. Looks like the Salute to Military Service set. The Union Pacific. Locomotive, cars, and caboose. That's a nice set. Atlas freight cars, a lot of cabooses. Got a variety of Atlas cabooses right there. I got some more weathered cars from Microtrains. Some Atlas train set, another one. Union Pacific train set. Some more covered hoppers from Microtrains. Variety right there. The Hogs Trains has some little train set that they put together here with a switcher. And Microtrain's Thomas Kincaid set. I'm not sure if these are the lighted versions or the unlighted versions, but I'm sure we could find that one out later. And then we have things that are custom made at the NSE website. NSE limited editions. Got a lot of Norfolk Southern cabooses. Hazmat training tank car. U.S. Steel gondolas. This is from last year. Some of the leftovers that they have. CSX Pride and Service. Some trucks. More show stuff here. Pacific Fruit Express. And whole lots of stuff. Oh, wait. So special. The glow-in-the-dark car. Got that one. I almost was about to buy it again. I'm like, wait a minute, I just did get that. Why would I do that again?
That sounds like me.
So I thought it was cool, so I was like, oh, let's just get it, yeah. I've done that too many times. We had a N-Trak and T-Trak getting set up in this room. They're pre-positioning all their modules before they can set up tomorrow. And in this room, we had a online modelers meet and greet. Those people who are in the like RailWire forums and other forums, even YouTube personnel were here just to show a name to a face.
How many people are here at an N-Scale convention for the very first time? Would you stand up, please?
Yep, I never been.
I know you will find us a friendly bunch. I hope our irreverence doesn't offend any of you. If it does, well, come see me after the show and watch me again.
Okay, by now you realize this is the 31st year, and in 31 years, Microtrains has been this proud supporter of the welcome reception. So without further ado, I want to introduce Eric Smith.
Perhaps you have a list for us?
Maybe. Thank you, Dick. Thank you, George. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for the opening first official event, the welcome reception. We really appreciate your attendance at the airport throughout the entire convention. So, I'd like to say that encourage you all that you have just a great week here, and we look forward to meeting each and every one of you. We look forward to you coming by our tables as well as all of the tables during the Swap-A-Rama Public Show Day. It's going to be a great time. All of the events will be a great time. So, I have a question, and that is, by show of hands, you want to stand up. How many are from Kansas? Okay, very good. Now, I'm the messenger, and you don't kill the messenger, okay? I have a list. I've done this for numerous years, lost count. Just have a... No, Okay, so I have a top 10 list, everyone, and it's, you know you're from Kansas when, alright? Number 10, you know you're from Kansas when a traffic jam involves two cars staring each other down at a four-way stop, each determined to be the most polite and let the other go first.
Number 9.
You know you're from Kansas when you've been asked more than once, where's Toto?
Number 8.
You know you're from Kansas. You know you're from Kansas when you think opening day of pheasant season is a national holiday.
Pheasants being the word that is native to Kansas and those even from California. Number 7.
You know you're from Kansas when you think the major food groups are beer, beef, and beans.
Number 6.
You know you're from Kansas when you know the 4 seasons as summer, road construction, still summer, and winter.
Number 5.
You know you're from Kansas when you learned how to shoot a gun before you learned how to multiply.
That's good. Number 4.
You know you're from Kansas when the Mercedes-Benz is not a status symbol, a Ford F-150 is.
Or a Dodge Ram. Just leave those simple rockets out. Number 3.
A shotgun is your idea of instant messaging.
Or a language commutation. Number 2.
You know you're from Kansas when you owned at least one belt buckle bigger than your fist.
And finally, the number 1 thing to remember if you're from Kansas.
You're 100% Kansan if you actually understood these jokes. Thank you for the assistance. I'm going to lay down for the last because we've got a full program, but I just want to say on behalf of all the men and women at Microtrains, we sincerely thank you for your patronage, your support, not only for Microtrains, but our entire industry, and certainly, most importantly, the N-Scale Enthusiast group. Thank you very much.
650. Going once, going twice. Sold to number 443.
Well, actually, since 2000, we started a project of the NSE Custom Car Series. And each year, we do a custom design on a different car that we use as a fundraiser for us. And this project has really exploded over the years. And now it's somewhat of a major fundraiser for us. And these cars are quite in demand. We only have a total of 30 of them. And we hold at least 3 of them here for the live auction. The placard in front of me is, a big version of it. The real car is right there. Of the numbered cars, this is number, I believe, 8. There is only 16 numbered signed cars. And as I say, all the proceeds come to us, and we appreciate whatever support you can offer us. And please start the bidding.
Once again, where do the proceeds from this car go? Come on, guys, we can do better than that. Where do they go?
NSE.
Thank you. All right, it is item number 18. I think everybody knows all the rest of it. The opening bid, of course, is 0. I'm going to start it at 50. At what? I have an opening bid of 350 right here behind me. Who wants to get your eyes to 4? 350 I got. Looking for 4? 4 I've got. Looking for 450. 450 I got. Yes? And then 450 I got here anyway. 5? 550. I got 5 over there. Looking for 550. I got 5 looking for 550. These are really rare, really special, really cool. It all goes to the Enthusiast. I've got 550, looking for 6. I got 550, looking for 6. 6 I've got from behind, looking for 650. 650. Well, looks like we're going to look for 650. 650 one time. I'll do 6 1/4. One shot, going once, going twice, and sold at $600 to number 391. Thank you very much.
A lot goes into a train show at the N-Scale convention with a lot of setup. You get a couple hours to set all this stuff up, so they're moving pretty fast. A little hop, skipping, and jumping going on in here. Still looks like a little bit of organized mess, but it's getting there. We're at the convention Swap-A-Rama. It's about to open up, and all the people come in to talk to the vendors, get some first looks before the public get in here, look for the deals that they're looking for, and it's getting kind of busy at the moment. Got a lot of the N-Scale Enthusiast cars right here that you can purchase. Got all those things there. And we've got model train market here. We've got prototype N-Scale modelers. George Hollowell's winning N-Scale models. So you have some of those things here as well. Got a lot of parts and tools and so forth like that. Trainville Hobby Depot is here as well. A wide variety of options. We have the Arch. Bluford Shops, obviously. We got Bluford Shops. I got a review of their stuff coming out soon. I won't tell you until I do it, so it'll be a surprise. And then we've got the big names over here. Microtrains is over here. Scale Trains, Atlas, Kato. We got a layout over here. They're getting ready to run some trains, but they're working on a bit of an issue with the drop bridge, I believe. And we have Showcase Miniatures. They're always a fan favorite. A lot of undecorated vehicles. Pickup trucks, cars, vans, panel vans. Got some signals, LEDs. If you're at the show, you get a 10% off special. One of the benefits of coming to an N-Scale convention is getting some deals. And we have the hobby stop. Over here, we got scale trains over there.
You know, one of the most fun things about doing this is, of course, you all. And I thank you so much for your faithfulness in coming and getting in the line. But also the surprise. It's all about the unknown. And this year will really catch you because I've never done this before. I guess that would be true with every concept. But truly, it's a double surprise. This year, I have two surprises. One concept. The concept for this year, how many of you were in Bethlehem last year? So for y'all that were in Bethlehem, a super treat because this year's goes with last year's Burlington Northern Santa Fe Sleep with the name Kansas City. Now, whether you know or not, you know the NSF train, they gave the name of the car in the letter, which I think is a poor idea, but it is what they do. So this year's car is a Railfanning car because we can get those. I think great people. And it's BNSF plates in 2025 Kansas City. But wait, there's more. And I've never done this before. Today, we have available a car that is in production, was in production, and I didn't release it until right now. It'll go live on the website tomorrow. It's a Kansas City Southern Dome car, which wore several names. And in this case, one of those names was Kansas City. So we should do that. This is the first car that I've Kansas City Southern that is specifically for their executive train. The other ones you can run on that. So anyway, I have those. Also, not to be forgotten, I do have haystack. I brought a batch of haystack fruit packer cars. This is number 27 in the series. It's been a long time coming. And if you ordered that in advance, I have a list. I can check your name off and save the shipping. You can use that for tariffs, but that's up to you. I will ship it to you. But thank you all. Have a great day.
So we're here at the Scale Trains booth, and we have a couple announcements. The EMD GP40s are coming out soon. You can look at the website and pre-order right now, I believe. And you got bicentennial ones, which is, well, coming up. We got 250. I'm not sure what the name of that one's going to be, but it's probably a tongue twister. And then you've got Penn Central. You've got L&N, Western Pacific, Rio Grande, all sorts of road names for you. And then also we have the Southern PS Silverside gondolas coming in Southern. And you also have some SD40-2s here as well, but announced is these Southern cars. And so that's pretty cool. So you can pre-order those right now as well.
They ran good together.
And of course they have all the other offerings over here. Well, I am at the Atlas booth. We have some things here. We got the EMD SD35 locomotives. Even though it looks like it would glow in the dark, it probably doesn't, but it should. If you got blacklight, it would. That'd be good. And then you got GP38s. The Rock, NW, Harbor, Southern, and Furex. SD35s, you got Southern and Northwest, Springfield Terminal, B&O, etc., etc. You also have a 42-foot pulpwood flat car and some modern hooded signals for your layout. We've got Evans 53-foot double plug door boxcar. It's a tongue twister, but that's Z-scale. I don't know if you guys want C-scale, but you could get that there too as well. 50-foot ACF precision design boxcar. And you also have a GP38-2 PH2 locomotive. You can see it does come with ESU lock sound. All these do come with ESU lock sound as an option. And they also have 33,000 gallon tank cars and Trinity PD 5000 covered hoppers. So the newest thing they have is the 60-foot Gunderson 7538, 7550 boxcars. New factory, new tooling, and they even come with a little bit of graffiti on there as well. Oh wait, here's the graffiti one right here. They're putting graffiti on theirs. First impression here is it looks pretty good. It's a nice solid car. You know, sometimes you grab a car and it kind of squishes on the middle because it's hollow. This is pretty solid. Details on the bottom look pretty neat. A lot of detail underneath there if you want to look underneath your locomotives and rail cars. You can see that. So, BNSF car as well. Pretty nice. Those retail for $42.95. Check with your local hobby shop for different pricing or deals. Now we're at the Microtrains booth. And you've got some Southern Pacific 2-packs with trailers coming out. There's 2 sets, 2 versions. You also have Railgun gondolas, a new body style, coming out this summer. And coming in October, you've got some 2-packs and Burlington Northern and Quincy, Chicago, CB&Q basically. 4-car runner pack. We have some Golden West hoppers here. Golden West Service hoppers. And the James E. Stratz Show box set here. 3 cars. Also got the Grit and Grind series in HO. And also an N-scale. Railgun gondolas. These are the new things that are coming out? Yeah.
So these are pre-production samples, so there is some details to change.
Yeah.
Fully detailed underframe, brake piping. Obviously there's, again, still some painting to clean up, because these were just samples.
Made.
Yes. Yeah, literally they just got these together before the convention. Yep. Separately applied brake wheel and detail. Yep. It's hard to see in the paint here, but there is detail on the interior with inside of the gondola as well. So when you weather that up or put some weathering thinner, you'll be able to bring those details out.
Got that ribbing, you'll see a little extra
yes
rust or something like that.
Yeah, and I know we have some weather releases planned down the road, so I'm sure it'll highlight some of that more than a clean version.
Yeah. So the Grit and Grime is also coming out on your stuff in N-scale, or is this somebody else's?
So this is an example of where we had a previous N-scale release, and then we
made the same thing,
blew it up and made a big brother in HO scale.
Okay.
The Grit and Grime is going to continue on the HO scale side as we have time. Obviously, trying to match our body styles to AccuRail's body styles that we're using. But they're kind of taken off on their own, so they're going to continue to do, periodically those, and then the weathered series is going to continue with 2 to 3 different SKU releases per month as we have. So
Okay.
those are going to continue as always. They're very popular, and we appreciate everybody's patronage on that. So
Okay. What else is here? We got the June releases, it looks like.
yep, we're a tad too early for our July stuff, but those should be hitting by just in time for the holiday week coming up next week. So keep an eye out on the website for the micro news.
Yeah, it looks like you got the Straits shows line. Well, I never really heard of the Straits Circus at all, but
Well, it wasn't. It was more of a carnival.
more of a carnival.
Yes, they were more on the East Coast. I know they were big in. I'm going to blanket on the city, but it might be the New York State Fair.
Okay.
I know that James E. Strait's Carnival Train were kind of more of like a showish like that. It wasn't. They didn't have animals. They didn't have anything.
Yeah.
But they were the last one to use rail, which I think they just ended.
Huh.
They ended during COVID, but then reinstated it for an anniversary. But yeah, the Straits Carnival Train, because it was more rides than it was.
Yeah.
At least in the modern 2000s, 2010s, it was passenger cars and then more rides.
Yeah, rides and sideshow acts and those kind of things. Okay.
Yeah, it's less about the Barnum and Bailey circus type.
Yeah. Looks like we got more windmill cars coming out.
Those will be pre-ordered
It says fall.
Yes, fall.
Sometime fall.
Because I think they're going to be split out. They will most likely be split out over probably 2 month release periods. So.
Okay. And of course the Grit and Grime series, which we just talked about. And End of the World War II honorary car. That should be kind of nice. That should be out in August. I guess that's when the end of World War II happened in the end of August. 1945, so makes sense.
But, 80, it was May of 2025.
Yeah. Okay, we're at the Cotto booth, and they have a rail diesel car with jet engines on it.
I think somebody just had
So pretty cool.
You could have had one.
SD90s.
We're not going to do it anymore.
And SD90 43 Max.
No, we're actually doing it.
Are you really?
Yep. And it's going to be new tooling, so it's not going to be a couple. It's actually going to be new.
I think I'm going to kind of need to get one of these. And we've got some NW2s and SD40-2s as well.
They're DTTXs. Like Pacer ones. DTTX has those now. So they've got all different packages.
And a few other options as well. And then we have some more SD90s, SD70s, so forth. C44s, E8s, and then you got P42s. And of course these little kits you can make, your own little sort of like a mini T-Trak kind of a thing. But nice little kits. Kids can do them. Make all sorts of fun little scenes. Okay, we're at Bachman Trains, and they've got some N-Scale offerings here. Passenger sets, some Via, and some rail cars. You even have some tank cars. Got the hooker cars. That's in Z-scale. That's Z-scale, right?
Yeah, that's all N-scale.
That looks like a Z-scale to me. But it is N-scale. Huh.
Yeah, those are our all new chemical tank cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, help us out.
Okay. And then boxcars, the locomotives, and so forth. This is an estate sale from a guy that had a large collection. And he was the founder of N-Scale magazine. And so he passed away unexpectedly, and they're liquidating his stuff here. A lot of neat things. And Now the Swap-A-Rama is in full swing here. And all the vendors just talking to people, selling some stuff. We have these RS laser kit buildings. Or maybe not buildings, but more track radius kits. So you can help make your track radiuses. Okay. And then we've got Lund Studios, all these buildings. Lund Studios. Got these nice buildings. Temple Tower. Ivory Tower. Chadwick Tower. A lot of tower buildings you can put on your layout scene. Oh, there's something over here that I've missed. A little, looks like a grocery store, snail ways. Or it's a shipping building, something. Oh wait, bus depot. That's what that is. I probably should read once in a while. I could tell you guys what it really is. Kelly's Cafe. Still more books. A whole bunch of stuff. N-Trak models. Got this nice little scene here with some old apartment complexes and their laundry lines out there. Those kits you can purchase here. And we got some of these Applewood Depot, Transfer Depot, Freight House, a lot of HO stuff, but you know, don't see any N-Scale.
Oh, goodness.
And then
I have one module, but
we got the N-Scale stuff over here on this side. And so you've got transfer buildings and little depot buildings, consult garage, general store. So we got a few things here. Phoenix model buildings, an RS laser kit. And a fire machine and tool. Mounts an N-Zoom house. Another car shed, tool shed. With the RS laser kits. A lot of different options. We're at the Intermountain booth here at N-Scale Convention at the Swap-A-Rama, which is almost over. And if you don't know, Frank, one of the original owners, or the original owner of Intermountain, Frank turns 90 years old tomorrow. And so everybody's been signing birthday cards for him. And they've got some cylindrical hoppers as well as some Trinity 3281 hoppers, covered hoppers. And they have some of those right here. And you got some of the cylindrical hoppers over here as well.
noted.
Some locomotives.
Sorry, the end of the line one? Okay, noted. Thank you.
Some of the new items here is this one here, which has just come out. And got some SD40-2s. Last chance to get reservations passed already for the covered hoppers if you were going to pre-order. That's okay. And of course they have some wheel sets. Now we're here at the Blueford Shops booth. We have the dented mill gondolas that are coming out soon in N-Scale. At least it says so anyway. Maybe they're already out. But you can get northeast. You can get the southwest. You even get the south and the northeast. You got auto parts cars. You have cabooses or cabooses. And you have ore cars. And dented gondolas, all sorts of stuff.
I mean, I'll have them in the Canadian retailers' hands probably within the next week or two.
Okay.
And then the U.S. retailers, I mean, have lots of interest here, but
Yeah.
I figure probably another 2-3 weeks on top of that for their initial orders.
Okay.
I'm there.
Did you get hooked up with Midwest while you were here?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
excellent.
And so I definitely hooked up with them, and they were suitably impressed to want to be on board. So
Okay, excellent.
I went out and saw them actually at the store yesterday. So
Cool.
to make sure that they got, I figured while I'm out here, I might as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, this all looks very cool. I wanted to stop by and thank you for the demonstration.
Oh, no problem. That's why I'm here. I mean, it's to get it out there. It all look-wise. I mean, there you go.
I mean, I know all the different companies, except for this one.
What's that? Sorry?
So I know all the different styles.
Okay, yeah, sure. Except for mine. So, I just uncoupled that joint. So these guys are uncoupled. I want to couple them, just shortly bring them together. So I can, they low force automatically couple really well.
Yeah, that was really low force.
Yeah. And
what about high force? I'm serious.
Sure.
Have you seen it like sometimes where if somebody hits
there you go.
Bounces?
I just did it now. Yeah. So sure, they'll you want to whack them? Okay, I bounced it there. I might have even broken it, to be honest. I was getting a little bit too excited, but anyway.
How can you tell it's broken?
As I can actually see, I broke the retainers off, but that's fine. We can service them. What do you know about that?
Yeah, but it still connects.
Yeah, I know, but the retainer's actually broken. Easier to uncouple them off.
They would easily uncouple?
Yeah, they are a bit. Anyway, generally you don't slam your cars together, but if you do, you can break the couplers, as I demonstrated there.
Just about anybody can break any coupler if you hit it hard enough.
If you had to hit them hard enough, so I hit them pretty hard there. But here, no, it's no problem. Let's fix them. So I'm gonna replace parts. I did actually literally break them.
Oh, so there's like a little spring in the back?
So how they work, is there's
two-piece.
These are actually probably early prototypes. That's what's going on there. That's why they broke. Anyway, when you have a bajillion versions of the coupler kicking around, this happens. These guys are not up to date, but that's fine. Let's install a brand new one. So this is a spring mounted on this coupler.
Right.
And what happens is this is a universal retrofit. So this is an existing car that has like a 1015 type box. And I have a brass retrofit part that adapts the existing coupler box. And that's what this microtrain's car is. Like, okay.
When you mean adapter is like a shim or something? Or
yeah, it's like this. What it does is how these work is the spring mounts to the coupler,
right?
And it actually mounts. So like this coupler is now the spring is attached to both of the shanks.
Okay.
Right? So you can even pull on it, right? See how the spring holds on.
Yeah.
So it's first of all, it makes it a lot easier to work with once it's assembled, right? I can drop this.
It's not like a microtrain.
Not like a microtrain's coupler, right? Like they're way easier to work with. Okay, that's great. And then what happens is when I install it in the car, the other part of the mechanism is there's a splitter that goes in between the spring and takes one spring and turns it into kind of two springs.
Oh, I see that. I see that right here.
You see that there, yeah.
That's the splitter?
That's the splitter. So in order to adapt it to existing boxes, I need to install a splitter into the box. So I do that by this little brass thing that I glue into the box because it has to stay fixed in position.
Right.
And then now that I've got that coupler installed, I just close up the original box. So in this case, they're just press fit. Some other designs, there's a screw. It really depends on the model, but this car, it's press fit. You want to be really paying attention to make sure the coupler's centered. There you go.
Is that what the splitter does? It centers the...
So it does two. It takes. This is actually a pretty good place to look at how it works. It takes one spring and makes it into two springs is what it does. So it holds the spring in the middle. And see, when the coupler moves to one side, one side of the spring gets compressed.
Right.
But the other side of the spring gets stretched.
And it's going to pull it back.
And it pulls it back, but it's double acting. So it pulls it back. One side pulls it back by the spring relaxing, and the other one is the spring uncompressing.
Right.
And so it's double acting. So it lets you have a really light spring, but still have reliable centering action. So that's how you get the low force automatic coupling, because the spring is double acting. So it kind of gets to work in both directions. So you can use a light spring and still have the coupler reliably centered, but you don't need that high automatic coupling force. So that's how they work.
It's amazing. Like, you get so used to seeing with the size of a microtrain.
You get so used to kind of overscale couplers that you don't realize how overscale they are.
Exactly. It really makes 160 160.
Right. Yeah. And the other major benefit is you get better couple distance between cars. So instead of like overscale couple distance between cars, now you have literal scale distance between cars.
Which needs a smaller little tool to get in between the car.
Yeah, I mean,
to pull it apart. You know.
So
you got to make your modifications everywhere.
So for tight radius, are you going to have a longer shank on them at any time or not?
Generally not.
You just mount it?
Well, generally what you want to do, I do have longer shanks, to be clear. So I do have, different shank lengths, but usually it's for modeling purposes, not for cornering purposes.
Right.
And generally, again, there's always a limit to how much corner things can do, right?
Exactly.
But, if we have there's a 40-foot car and some shorter covered hoppers, right? These are coupled at scale distance between the cars, but it'll still do 6-inch corners. Right, so generally,
I was just seeing if they're a good touch.
Yeah, they're like right on the money. Maybe they're touching right there, right? But they'll get around 6-inch corners. They'll get around 6-inch corners with that switcher locomotive as well.
Right, but probably would just... the max length would be like a 42-foot car.
Yeah, I mean, with the... I can actually probably... This is a 50-foot car with a mic... This does have a long shank on it. Because it's going in, replacing the factory 1016 box exactly. So this... But it's kind of meant to look like a short shank, because of how the factory mounts the box, right? So this is literally a one-to-one box replacement. This should go around the 6-inch corner too. It's not recommended, I'll be honest with you, but yeah, you can get away with it.
Right.
But most people are not going to have 6-inch corners.
Most people don't have 6-inch corners.
No, but it's a good.
But what I'm trying to say is, hey, because you don't have the monstrous slack, you actually don't need massive coupled distances between cars, and you can still go around crazy tight corners.
Yeah.
The Broadway Limited booth. There's some stuff here, but the newest thing that's coming out next year will be the Baldwin Sharknose RF16 in N scale. New York Central. I guess it's a pretty iconic looking locomotive from that era of passenger travel. And it'll come out with some road specific details, of course DCC and sound. Arriving next spring, 26. Also is the AT and SF 3751 Northerns, also in N scale, of course. And those steam locomotives will come with smoke. Sounds actually recorded from 3751, so it's going to be pretty cool. So stay tuned and look for that one when it comes out next spring. Here's another version of a T-Trak module with an overhang. I haven't seen that design before. Makes a cool diorama. You can add some lighting in there.
Questions? Is that a double?
Oh, just looking at the different style of
Is this a double?
T-Trak. Yep. I bought those. And the RS laser kits. Okay, we're here with Stephen Atwell, actually. Let me get that one correct. From Midwest Model Railroad here in Kansas City, Missouri. Not Kansas.
Oh, we're in Kansas.
You're in Kansas City, Missouri.
We're standing in Kansas City.
We're standing in Kansas City, Kansas. Okay, but what we have is a new product that they are offering, that they're creating, that they're going to start marketing here shortly, and that is a new lighting and sound system. You've probably seen other manufacturers come out with that as well, and we are going to talk about their version and see if you like that versus somebody else's. So what do you got here?
So the biggest thing for me is I love animation on a layout. And if you look at club layouts and whatnot, that's what you always see is people are drawn to the area where their animation is. So we wanted to make sure that we could provide that animation on a layout in more realistic and affordable fashion. There's currently products on the market that do some basics versions of that, but everything is very add a module, add a module, add a module,
Right.
add a module. So we set out to say, well, we want to develop a board that does at least 20 channels.
Okay, that's a lot.
Compared to the 4 channels that we get.
Mhm.
So we chose all our hardware, we figured out what we could do, and what we realized is once we had all the processor and hardware, we could actually offer the same board with 40 channels for like $1.50 more than the 20 channel board, and it seemed like a no-brainer. We don't need to gatekeep, we don't need to keep people out, we're just gonna, here's the product. I want to sell you the board, I want everything else to sort of be open, so it's set up so the drop-in resistors are already in place. It is this board, this is the main control board, and this control board will come with 8 of these breakout boards.
Okay.
They connect via standard RJ12 6P 6C cable.
Okay, so standard telephone cable.
Yeah,
6
standard
wires, yeah.
telephone cable, LocoNet, NCE, they all use the same style cable.
Okay.
Most people can just build it in-house, which is great because you just run that out to a breakout board that you could install in buildings, as we've done here. There's 2 breakout boards in this building controlling 30 lights.
30 lights? Wow.
And then this module over here has 3 breakout boards in it as well. Everything's currently running on random because we just have the 1 prototype board.
Okay.
Where obviously you probably wouldn't want your street lights in a random sequence, but in the situation that we're currently in with the 1 prototype board, that's how we have it linked.
Yeah, you probably want random for like a storm scene where the power is getting fluctuating.
Or just in
those kind of things,
in a
whatever you want
city
to do.
for like the morning. So what we've done is we've built the program for the 40 channels where it'll do a mean time of 4 seconds before a random event, and it'll choose randomly of the 40 channels. It's not sequenced. It's not going to do the same thing every time. With a mean time of 4 seconds, so it might be 0 to 8 seconds before that random event, but it's going to turn on a light, or it's going to turn off a light in that random sequence.
Yeah. Okay.
This board, right out of the box, offers on and off. So if you want to switch all your lights on, all your lights off, whatever, that's there. It offers a sequence where it can boot up in order. So if you had like a string of street lights going down the road, and you press your button to turn it on, it'll boot up right down the road pretty quickly, but you'll get that sequence of the lights turning on.
Okay.
Or it offers random right out of the box as well.
So a lot of different options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we were to do 40 channels of this style, if we were to do 40 channels out of some other products, it would cost us over $500. This board we're going to release for $80.
$80.
$80.
$80 for that. Hear that, guys? $80.
It has 8 dimmers built in.
Okay.
Those dimmers are per breakout board. So if you have an LED that's brighter than you want it to be, you can dim that breakout board to a certain level, and that now sets your level for that board. And you'll be able to do that for all of your breakout boards. There will be accessories if you don't want to use the standard breakout board. If you want like a flashing circuit, you set it on your on mode all the time. You replace one of these little breakout boards with a flashing circuit board, and you can have up to 5 flasher circuits.
Okay.
It'll be discrete circuitry again. Everything will already be in. Any 2 to 3 volt LED, you're good to go. We know most people already have low voltage run on their layout. And the last thing they need is another wall board. So all of our boards have voltage regulators built onto them. They will take any 9 to 24 volt DC power. And so you don't have to worry about adding more power somewhere.
Yeah.
You can run off your bus line if you already have one for DC power for accessories or whatever you're using them for. Slap a barrel connector on it and plug it in. You're good to go.
Okay.
So that's the lighting product.
You can see the lights are all lit up, and they'll randomly change during the time we're standing here. I've noticed there was just, there's another one comes on. It'll go on and off. So that's pretty neat. If you have this isn't a real building, obviously, guys. This is a demo. Okay, I'm not an idiot. I know it's not a real building, but it's there for the looks and aesthetics. But imagine having 3 floors in a building, and different lights in different rooms are turning on and off depending on who's leaving the room.
We can make it easier to imagine.
Yeah, so we could do that too.
This is built specifically for.
And there you go.
Did I just unplug the whole thing?
No, it's on.
Great.
It's on. But yeah, you can see the different lights on in different rooms on each floor. So you made a custom insert. If you got a 3D printer, you can make your own.
We're going to have 2 different sound modules.
Okay, sound.
This is the ESM module. Again, any low voltage 9 to 24 volt DC power, you're good to go. This is the ESM. It's our environmental sound module. It's going to have up to 8 program sounds into it.
Okay.
But you're going to put it on the idea is you're going to put it with a scene. So you have your forest scene, your river scene, barn scene, whatever.
Right.
And it'll take off any contact closure. So you can either leave it on all the time with a switch. If you're going to leave it on all the time, you can just put a wire between the trigger and be done with that. You could put a sensor where when something happens in that area, or motion in that area, or a light sensor in that area, literally any contact closure, it'll trigger it and start playing the sound. Speaker-wise, we didn't want to lock you into the system again. You can use any 8 ohm or lower speaker. Doesn't matter. There's tons of them available already in the market. There's tons of them available in other markets. It's any speaker that you want. We don't want you to have to come to ours and overcharge you for the speaker.
Right. So you can get a little cube speaker instead of this huge 4-inch
so this
speaker box.
Yep.
So,
and this one this is just a golden spike speaker that we grabbed right off the shelf to show it as different. This has got sort of nature sounds for a scene. All of these boards, we wanted to make them as open as possible. You can plug it into your computer and just change the sound if you want to.
Wow.
You don't have to buy a new board. You don't have to say, I spent $30 on some cicada sounds. I want some different sounds. I need to spend $30 on another board. You just say, I don't need that anymore. You plug it in. It shows up like a flash drive. You just have to make sure the file name stays the same. So you take whatever your new audio file you want in MP3 format, change it to match the file name that you want to replace, and just drop it in. So it'll have some format. We haven't solidified what we're going to do, but it could be like DAT01. You're just going to make sure your new file is DAT01, replace it, unplug it from the computer, back on the layout, and you've got new audio.
Do you happen to know what the max file size would be for the sound?
I do, but I couldn't tell you right now.
Okay.
But ultimately, this board could technically do up to 256 files.
Okay.
But we wanted to make sure that you could load a 4 or 5 minute sound on it so you don't hear it repeating all the time.
Right.
So we've limited it down to 8 that will have a much larger file size.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you finally come up with that.
Yes.
We'll find out that real
Yes.
answer. But
Yes, it is.
the potential's there for
Yes.
a large file.
A large file.
Okay.
Especially if you only wanted to put one on there, you could. That one file could take up your. You could use all the memory for the one file if you wanted to.
Okay.
These are the ESM Plus modules. They can have up to 6 sounds on them.
Okay.
And what the difference is here is there's 6 contact closure inputs. So again, switch, sensor, whatever you want it, and each of those contact closures will trigger sounds 1 through 6 for everything's terminal block based. Again, power, anything 9 to 24 volts. You don't need an extra wall wart. Speakers, same thing, anything like that. We have a fascia mount option, and then this is the sort of the base model, which would be the install board for people like if you're going to put it under your layout and run your own switches or sensors or whatever it is. You don't need all the extra expense of the switches for the fascia mount.
Okay.
But even the base model has 6 test buttons on it, so that this is out of the Sugar Cube speaker. It's just an 8 ohm Sugar Cube from, and then if a different sensor got tripped or someone threw a different switch, it's just going to immediately switch over to that sound.
Okay.
And then
like crossing and a wheel squeal after that going around.
Yeah,
the
so like
corners
maybe you got some wheel squeal as you go around the corner.
Yeah.
Because you put a sensor over on one of your tight curves, or maybe it's just in an area you just want railroad noise and somebody's over there catches a motion sensor and starts triggering railroad noise in that area.
Okay. Well, that's probably a really small file because it's repeating.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a dun-dun-dun, they repeat.
Yeah. So we hope to have the sound ones on the market available for sale, available for purchase September 1, and we hope to have the lighting and all accessories available October 1.
Okay. Would you think about having downloadable sound files that people could use off your website?
We could go through and master those files, and we're considering doing sort of batches of files.
Right.
Here's a bunch of landscape ones, and just to cover the cost of the guy who would do the master, we put it on like a downloadable. Here's 24 downloadable files for $1.
Okay.
Like, you don't need to pay a lot for.
Yeah.
But you know, it's done. Download it. Here's
Without going out to the railroad track yourself and recording it with expensive microphones and recording equipment, you know, you get to do it, you know, for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Wow. So October and September.
September for sound.
September for
October
sound.
for lights is what we're really shooting. Like, that is our expectation.
Okay. Well, thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Another new product over at Midwest Model Railroad is some 3D printed accessories. They're all resin prints, and you can buy these undecorated. And you got loads for your gondolas, and you also have loads for your center beams. They're magnetically connected. You get different sizes for each type. You can get loads for the center beams from 73 footers, your rapidos, everything. And they just snap together, stay together, and they don't fall off. So you can get pipe loads, wood tie loads, all sorts of stuff. You even can get an outhouse. Wouldn't that be fun? Here at the NSE convention here in Kansas City, they have N-Rail, which is basically encompassing various standards like T-Trak, N-Trak, and Fremo into a one organization kind of a structure. We all kind of share ideas and, you know, just modeling skill in general. And so we have a N-Trak right here that's connected to the T-Trak, which is at a lower level, tabletop level, versus 40 inches off the floor. And so they use that to connect the two. They use a helix and get those two standards to run together, because they're similarly run anyway, with a red and a yellow line and maybe a third blue line, I believe. And to combine the two standards, it does take a little bit of work, and but they've been able to do that. And I think this is a similar thing they did in Texas for the NMRA convention in 2023, I believe. And so that's a mighty good feat. So we're going to take a look at some of these modules. Even have a lift bridge to walk through the module without ducking under it. You know, just lift it up and away you go.
All right, well, thank you. And you too, sir.
The N-Trak, from what I understand, has kind of grown as a way to demonstrate train layouts at train shows, and in more of a modular kind of setting. And it's up high enough and low enough that everybody can see it. Make scenes like this, a little river going underneath the train bridge. Take your boats and go fishing, water skiing, whatever you want. Party barges. You got a backdrop that goes around the outside viewing area. So basically you have a one-sided viewing area to the display. Now they're running JMRI as well on this layout. And it takes a little bit of a village of power and carts and everything else to set up something like that. But that's how they're doing it, and it works pretty good. And in just about every layout, you want some way to turn your train around. And so they built this module here for a peninsula. And so you can turn your trains around. And they have a few little operation tracks up here for this mine, so that you can play with your trucks and your bulldozers and your front end loaders and so forth and so forth, and make a little quarry. But the train goes around and comes back down on this other track over here and all the way back out. So you can kind of have a reverse loop set up as well. Neat little end bumper there that's all lit up. That's pretty neat. And putting lights and flashing lights for police cars, emergency vehicles, what have you. Make a little scene where the cops are pulled over a Camaro for speeding. And there we go. And here's the helix that they're using to transition between the T-Trak and the N-Trak. Has an adjustable height mechanism here. You can just screw it up a little and down depending on how you've got to make your table level. And then it just goes all the way down to the bottom and it comes on out to the T-Trak. And here's an example coming right now. A load of cabooses. A flock of cabooses. A gaggle of booses. I don't know. Whatever you want to call that. It comes out of the helix and transitions to T-Trak.
By tomorrow, we'll have it down. It's just the way it works.
And then when you get on T-Trak, every module could be a different scene like this Jurassic Park module. Right next to a Stonehenge module. Right next to a lighthouse module. right into a Y. Just like a real railroad, you have to wait for another train that's got right of way and gets jammed. So the beauty about this is you can have different kind of controllers, like this one in his hand, a cell phone in another. There's an iPad down there. There's other T-Trak's handheld module controllers you can use to run your trains. And so the standard pretty much is moving to a wireless environment. So if you don't have wireless set up, it's probably going to be a very short day. We've got a model of the arch in St. Louis. Pretty impressive. Rather impressive arch. Very nice. And you got a train coming through here, bringing the cabooses into St. Louis. Pretty big. Okay, something new for T-Trak is they've incorporated MSS, Modular Signal System. They're using the Iowa Scale Engineering system, and they have to hook it up differently than Fremo, but it's still electrically the same kind of thing. It's just they can make their detection circuits spread out and in between the signals. So the signal here is red in both directions, so it means there's somebody on this circuit over here, and there's somebody coming right now on that one, but it's on the yellow line. And on the red line, there's somebody coming along here, and it's now turned green as they got past their signal. So as this train comes through, it's coming up to its signal. The engineer should be looking to see if he's got a green light, which he does, because he's going to keep on going through the signal. And the signal turns red once it passes the detection circuit on the other side of the signal. So now that block is occupied. Actually, it's 2 blocks are occupied right now because the train's in both blocks. So you can see over here, they've got another signal right there, and when it gets over to the other side, they'll turn green or red depending on what's going on. And so there's, on this T-Trak layout, there are 4 sets of signals. There's one way down there, and there's one over here, and the 2 that I showed you right over here. And so they've got it working, which is a good feat. It's the first time they've got MSS set up in a T-Trak environment. And so it took a lot of work of figuring things out. You have to have 2 sets of MSS for each line, because in T-Trak and N-Rail, or N-Trak, they have different lines. So you have the red line and the yellow line, so separate railroad connections unless you have a crossover. But typically they stay on one line or the other, and thus you have to have one MSS for each of the lines. Fremo, you only need one because it's all electrically wired up basically the same way, but it will still detect depending on how you wire it all up. But as you can see, a lot of cabling goes into powering all these accessories and the MSS. We have a smaller T-Trak layout out here in the hallway. It's a typical T-Trak kind of setup you would see with the outer red line and a yellow line. Sometimes they break up the lines to DCC and DC, and so you can run both formats. In the other layout I just showed you, the whole layout was converted to DCC on both lines, and so they could run more trains that way instead of just running DC. So. We got a train coming over here. TOC cars, or trailer trains. As you can tell, there's not a lot of wiring. The cables that you see, they did cover up a lot of the wiring with some of the tablecloth. So, but yeah, more simpler than the last layout we just saw. Okay, the T-Nuts are from Kansas City, and they do T-Trak. And so they've got a rather long layout here. Like this scene here, it looks like a dry dam, or it's maybe not a dry dam. It's got some water in it, I guess, but it looks kind of dry. But nice bridge scene. Got a Whataburger. So that building's 3D printed. And then looks like you have a system to dump your grain trucks or commodities truck, whatever is in that, I'm not sure. Dump it into the elevator for storage and processing. Then you have a lot of the scenes going all the way down here. Disney color train.
Yeah.
My dad was just downstairs talking. Let's see what it is for.
Tank train sitting there in the trees waiting to do what it's going to do. You got a yard.
Wait for them to pull it.
Yeah. Boxcar. Not boxcar, but pickle cars or something. And mixed freight. Yeah, it comes all the way down here. Another end loop. Yeah.
Want to give a shout out to you?
Sure.
DaBob's trains all the way. Keep them rolling.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Wait. Give me a thumbs up.
Hey, like the fine says.
Yep. Got some bridges here. Trains meeting on the bridge. And there we go. That's a trip around this layout. Well, this is the Heartland N-Trak. And they got a nice little corner section here of a turntable and roundhouse. And coaling station, water tank, other facilities behind the roundhouse. So, nice little end scene here. And then, of course, you got this mountain scene. You got a precarious mountain road and some cable. Got a paddle boat. Other stuff here. It's like a rafting excursion going to be going on. Yeah, neat little scene. The River Trace Landing is what it's called. Upper Mississippi River in Bluffs in northwest Illinois. Of the Fever River Mining District near Galena, Illinois. Yeah. It's been around for a while, 1986. The track has probably been replaced a few times since then, but still a nice little scene there. And you come into their staging yard area. And you can set up your trains there, run past the bluffs on both sides. We got to another corner piece here. Looks like you got a campfire burning there. You got hobo sitting out there. Long boxcar train. Pacific Fruit Express. Little grain elevator here. Homes. Some guys working in a boxcar on this corner piece. And then you get down to some fueling stations here. Oil tanks, gas tanks, whatever might be stored in there. And then we have a form of lift bridge to be able to walk through. Lift the bridge and the power turns off to the bridge. So the trains can't go through it while you're walking through it. So, no train station.
Oh, that's cool.
You gotta spend your money on stuff. I did spend money on stuff. Check on the case.
A little rodeo going on over here. And you've got a little cattle scene here along the tracks. And we've got some mining up here. All this road grading and stuff. Probably built a building on a hill of some sort. Landscaping. A silo kind of system here as well. Moving on down to this scene here. You know, town that's probably supporting the mine facility. And an airport. Okay, ManCavians, we're nearing the end of the National N-Scale Convention Train Show, and it's going to be done here in about half an hour or so. And we got to clear out this whole room for our banquet tonight, and so we'll be shutting this down. All the vendors will be loading their wares back into containers and taking it to their room or taking it out to their trailer and heading home or hanging out for the banquet. One of the two, they'll be here. So, hope you enjoyed the train show. And now we got to do the banquet. The banquet is starting to fill in. People are coming into the banquet hall. And all the stuff up front.
Okay. Thank you, guys. And I just want to say, I hope I see you all in Milwaukee next year. And I think George has something special going on here.
Those of you that have not won anything, and I don't want you to fight over this, but come up and see me at this table. I have a few leftovers and I'd be happy to trade for your tickets.
Good night.
There you go, ManCavians. That's been the 2025 N-Scale Enthusiast National Convention here in Overland Park, Kansas. It's been a great week so far. It was a little uneventful with having a train ride down in Branson get canceled, but you know, they still had fun either way. A lot of railfanning, a lot of home layouts to go visit. There was a banquet we just had. A lot of great food, a lot of prizes given away. There was a big old raffle that they always have, and you win some really good stuff, like locomotives, like 6 locomotives, 12 locomotives, a lot of rolling stock, everything. It's a great time, and everybody had a lot of fun. Some music, great food, and of course we had a train show as well. And you can see all the announcements and see some running locomotive and trains going on T-Trak and N-Trak, and some pretty good deals as well. Gets 10-20% off at the show only, and you get some free stuff too. So consider coming to Milwaukee next year, 3rd week in June. Hope to see you there. So if this is your first time visiting DaBob's N-Scale Man Cave, consider subscribing down below. Ring that bell to get notified of future videos just like this one. Also, leave a comment. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, and also give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Till next time, ManCavians, happy model railroading. You stay off those tracks. Bye.